Hello, I'm Rich Dean with West Coast Collector Cars in Oregon, and today I've got a really cool 1937 GMC 3100 pickup to show you. Now, this might be considered what some might call a rat rod, and that's just because it really doesn't have much in the way of paint. It kind of looks the way it does, but really, you know, this is a hot rod pickup, and it's really built to drive, and it's built to drive daily. It's got some nice upgrades to it. I'm going to show you some of that, and I think you'll agree. Built by a professional shop here in our area, so it was done correctly, done very nicely. I definitely want to show it to you. So let's talk a little bit about the paint. Let's talk a little bit about the engine. This is a 283 small block Chevy. It's all rebuilt. Headers, got electronic ignition, and it's got this very special manifold. This is an Edelbrock XC8 manifold, and what it is an opposing dual quad manifold, but with these base plates here, it allowed two Holley 94 carburetors on each side. So this in fact has four 2-barrel carburetors on it. It's pretty cool, but it runs great, starts right up easily, whether it's cold or warm or whatever the situation. And it runs very nicely, and you can hear it running in as much as it's got that nice dual exhaust that dumps out in front of the rear tires. But excellent. It's got a serpentine belt system on it, power steering, power front disc brakes with drilled and slotted rotors. The wheels and tires, these are ET mags. You know, these are old school, original ET mags. These are not a reproduction, what we see a lot of today, but you have these cast 5 spokes with the Brightwork trim ring, and it got radials all the way around. But the truck is very solid. All the metal is solid, and I understand, you know, it looks, you know, kind of rusty, but that's the whole point of it. The hood, this is a 1937 hood, and it would have opened, you know, in a clamshell fashion, but it's been reworked so that it opens from the front just like a normal hood would do. 1951 Pontiac emblem here, looks pretty cool on the truck, and this I don't know where this came from, but this heavy duty, and this is a 1939 truck grill. And what's kind of cool about, you know, vehicles like this, be it a, you know, a rat rod car or a pickup or something, is there's no rules. And that makes it kind of fun because it doesn't matter kind of what you put on it to make it, you know, what you want and make it cool. And this one has not been overdone. And sometimes we see this in rat rods where, you know, they've got all kinds of stuff on it that you wouldn't have had. I think the origination of, you know, today's term rat rod would have been, you know, back in the day when soldiers would come home from World War II and they would buy, you know, what they could afford or used, you know, 30s and even to a certain extent in the 40s vehicles, and you know, they were by now kind of, you know, looking a little rusty and so forth, but the point was they would fix the engines up and they would, you know, the transmissions, and they would race them and so forth, and that's kind of where this stemmed from. But of course in today's world we see a lot of extra things on those that they wouldn't have put on back then, and that's what I like about this truck. A little more traditional, really a traditional hot rod. I believe these are 1954 Pontiac headlights, and these are turn signals, and they do work, and they cancel, and these fog lamps also work. Everything on the truck works. All the running boards and everything, again, all the metal is really solid, the frame is solid. All the underpinnings and everything are very tight. It's a very safe rig, and that's another thing too. You know, when you're buying if you're buying a rat rod or building one, safety is really very, very important. And I know they look a little rickety, and that's the whole point. But you don't want to build them rickety. You want to build them safe. It's okay if they kind of look a little rough and tumble, but you kind of want it. You definitely want them safe. You take inside the interior here, you know, these were just metal door panels, and this is how you would open the door, this little slide thing, so that's original. You know, windows roll up and down nicely. It does have new glass in it. That's a 3-speed manual transmission, Saginaw 3-speed manual. Let me show you under here what they did. This is nice. So you have access there. That's the little door to the battery, so you can get to your battery. This is a this is a 2010 Chevy Camaro back seat. Fits in there pretty good. Not much to talk about in terms of the headliner either. But see, that's the whole point of this. You know, you could take this truck and, you know, you could put Dynamat in it, you know, carpeting. You could, you know, put fabric on the door panels or not. You could do a headliner in it. There's all kinds of things you can do, and that's what's kind of cool about something like this. You know, you can do whatever you want. Leave it the way it is. It drives just fine and works great. But even this, I mean, you know, even the panel fitment's nice on the truck. You gotta like that. The bed is nice and solid. You got this very, very nice, fine, corrugated metal bed here. I guess, you know, if a person wanted to, you could just use it for about anything you want. Wouldn't have to worry about that. That's the other thing about a truck like this. You use it for a daily driver. You can do anything you want. You don't have to worry about, oh gee, I might scratch it or something, because it already has a couple of scratches on it. Nice and solid. Nice solid rear bumper. Tail lamps. Brake lights. Of course, everything works properly. Turn signals. There's your fuel filler right here. Excuse me, a little license plate light. This is a 1937 Oregon license plate. Car is currently registered as a special interest, so you only pay that one time in the event you're in Oregon. Again, dual exhaust exiting out the front of the rear tire, and the differential is a 10-bolt Chevrolet, and I believe it came out of a 65 Impala. So it feels like it's, you know, got highway gear, so I imagine they're in the high 2s. Might be a 3-to-1 or so, something like that. Again, original GMC steering wheel. All the gauges work, what there are of them, but all these gauges work. I know they look a little rough. All the lights work. Again, turn signals that actually cancel. This is a crank out windshield, and it does work. It does crank the window out. This is a cool truck. I love stuff like this, you know. You can use it. You got a empty pallet almost, you know, nice shut lines. You can do anything you want. Take you on the engine on this side. So again, headers. I think I mentioned electronic ignition. Look at this, you know, temperature controlled fan. So this truck does not overheat, and it really drives nicely down the road. It's got a Mustang 2 independent front suspension, all new shocks all the way around. If a person wanted to, you know, they could paint it, I guess. I wouldn't. I'd leave it just the way it is. I would just drive this thing, you know, winter, summer, whatever. It's just a fun truck. It's really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in it right now. I'm gonna start it. You'll hear it start, and I'm just gonna drive it around the parking lot so you can kind of get a sense of what it looks like. But you know, it doesn't rub when you're driving it, and it drives nice and true down the road. The brakes work great. You know, stop nice and straight. They aren't shooting you off into the ditch or anything. You know, it's just a really neat truck. So let's do that. if you saw it or not, but this is a one-hand steering truck. Power steering. A couple other things I wanted to show you too. Here, emergency brake works. Check this out. This truck actually has a hydraulic clutch in it. So you don't even have clutch linkage, but there's your panel right there to get to the brake master cylinder and the hydraulic clutch. It's just a well thought out, well put together truck. And anyone that has the fortunate ability to purchase this truck is going to have a lot of fun with this truck, and there's just all kinds of things you can do with it. All the wiring harness, brand new, you know, with the new style fuses. I mean, this is the way to buy them right here. This is just excellent. So if I can answer any further questions for you about this GMC, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Again, my name is Rich Dean, and I'm sorry about the trucks in the background, but they're probably all just loving this. My number is 503-851-6763, and thank you for watching today.